Hello everyone, I'm welcoming you all once again to this channel. So, in our previous videos, we have seen various things using this random number, and first we have tried to generate those numbers, and then we tried to find out some properties of those numbers. Also, we tried to read one file, and from there, we have stored our random numbers, and we also do calculate some properties of that to match whether these numbers are uniformly distributed or not, or whether these numbers are random or not. So this thing we have already covered, and now I have one question to ask. Have you ever wondered if a computer can really generate truly random numbers? So in this video we are going to test that using a simple Fortran program and visualize the result. So here what we will do, like we will generate some thousands of random numbers between 0 to a certain range, and then we will divide those range into small intervals, or we can say we will divide them into certain bins and count how many numbers fall into each bin. Also, what we will do at the end, we will plot this distribution to check whether the numbers are uniformly distributed or not. And also, so here what we will do here is we can simply go and try to write our code. So I'm giving the name as probability distribution dot f90, because here we are going to see the probability distribution, and our program started with this probability distribution, and we can also end the program with the same name. Yeah. So here what we are going to do, so as we know that we are going to generate some random numbers within a specified range. So everything, for all doing all these, we always required a loop, and we will do this using a loop. So for that I'm simply defining all my variables initially. So here I'm taking one integer variable, and that will be a loop variable, that is I. And next is the dimension. The dimension of this random numbers we will define with the number n. So here we are taking this n as a parameter, and we will initialize the n value with some value, like any value you want to give. Suppose I am giving 10,000, so you can give any value you want. And after that we will also define our random number, which will be of this like the range for the random number, so that we will take with this real parameter. And here we will take the range, the initial value is 0 and the final value be as 100. And next is our random number, so that is also real with a dimension, and the dimension we will give it as n, because the random number will depend on the number of the numbers of random values that we want to generate. And after that what we will do here is we will try to create some bins. So based on this random number we will try to save the integer values of those random number. So for that, here I am going to define another variable, that is this integer, which will be of dimension same as the n, and that variable is y. And next is what, so during the loop what we want to do is we want to update, because every time we have to count that whether like we want to count all those numbers which is coming one by one, which will come one by one. So for that, here we need one counter. So for that, so we will see how to implement those counter and all. Just I'm defining this initially, that's why I'm doing all this. And it will have some values, and this counter name is city. So what here we have is, so this ct value, like whatever the counter that we will run here, so it will depend on the range, because within that range we are going to, within this range a and b, we are going to make some bins, like some ranges of numbers, and within that we are going to calculate like how many numbers are present within that bin. So by means of that, we can say that the ct value will depend on this a and b, but our a and b are real parameter, but the ct is an integer. So first what we will do, we will convert this to integer. So this is how we did, and so this is how we can simply convert our in real variable to integer variable. And the ct is an integer variable, and this is how the dimension of ct we have provided. And next we so to see those distribution, what we need actually is to have a histogram. So here we are defining another variable with a real data type, and that variable name is hist. So now let's go and do our simple thing like call random number, so which we usually do to generate random number in Fortran. So this is how we call the random number. But as we know that this can generate the numbers, this particular function can generate the number within a range of 0 to 1, but here our range is 0 to 100, so we need to do one scaling. So for this, let's run our loop, and that loop will go from 1 to n. And here the random numbers r of I will be a plus. So here we are only shifting the range a plus b minus a into r of I. So what we did here exactly is like we have generated the numbers between 0 to 1, and then we just scale that up. So we just scale that to this range 0 to 100. That's why we multiplied this random number with this number. So next is we want to save all those integer values of that random number, and we will store that with yi like this. So all the integer value of that random number we have saved, we will store with this y of I. And next for the printing purpose, we can write one value, like one file here, just to see those like what we are going to print and what we have saved. So here simply we will save our index number, also the random number corresponding to that index number, and the integer value of that random number. So we have saved this now. And another thing is, so every time what we want, this our integer variable, this y of I that we are saving from the random number, that also we want to be stored, like we want to or like how can I say, so we want to update that every time. So so what we want now is, we want a correct counting occurrence, like this one line I'm going to write now. So that line will count how many numbers are fallen within that particular bin. So for that, the command here I am writing as, so the line which will take care of the numbers that will fall within that range is like ct of yi plus 1. So this is nothing but a counter, so every time it will update the counting sequence. And here we can do this endo, and before writing this ct, so we can also initialize the ct with 0 value. So this is how we are done with one loop, where we just try to binning our random numbers, and for that we have used one integer variable yi, and we also counted, like to count all those numbers which will fall into that bin, we have taken one one counter variable. So now in the next part, what we will do, we will run another loop here. So here what we will do mainly is, we will try to normalize our histogram. So for that, I'm running another loop, and this loop will continue from 1 to integer of b minus a. And next is we will update our histogram. So our hist will be equal to ct of I divided by n divided by b minus a. So why we did this? Because we know that within the range, like we have the total number of value of n as 10,000, and this is the like we have this a and b range of this much. So we want to divide this total n into this much ranges. So to divide them within to divide them into certain range, we are giving that the hist will do what? It will count actual number in each bin divided by expected count. So this n by b minus a is nothing but our expected count. And next here is we will also try to print what we have written here. So for that here we will print that this I by b minus a, and along with the hist. So the histogram value also we will try to print over here. And here one thing we can tell, that suppose this hist value is 1, that means the random numbers are perfectly uniform, like we can say from this value. And also if the hist value is greater than 1, that means more values than expected is coming within that range. And also if hist value is less than 1, we can say that fewer values coming than our expectation. And this I by, like whatever we print over here, this I by b minus a gives a value from 0 to 1, mainly along the x-axis, and this hist is nothing but our normalized height of the y-axis. And now let's end do this, and now this program is complete. So what I can do is, let me save this and run this program to check that whether it is correct or not. So this program is correct, and if I will run this probe hist, we will get two files. So one first file is Fortran, because we have gave the key number as 10 for the one. So here what we have saved the index number, this is I, this is our r of I, and this is yi. As I told you that yi is nothing but the integer value of this ri. So here you see 24.39, and the integer value for that is 24. Similarly 48.62, we got 48. So this is how we have simply stored all these numbers, and later we will take this yi to create our bin. Like here we have seen that how these numbers are coming, and now based on this integer number, what we will do, we will try to binning them. So that part we did in our second do loop. So here you see that this is our I by b minus a, and this is our histogram value. So this is how these bins are present, and this is how our numbers are distributed, like how many times they are coming. Now it's time, because if we will read these files, we won't be able to understand all those. Now we are going to plot this so that we can understand that what kind of values that we are getting. So let's go to our GNU plot first, and here we will try to plot our Fort11 file. So now you can see that this is how the random number. So you see that first we have divided those values into certain bins, and here the bin size is like this is coming 0.1 0.2, because we have divided that bin size with the total number of n divided by I by b minus a. If I'm not wrong, we did that. No, n by b minus a we did. Suppose we have 10,000. Here we had 10,000. So 10,000 divided by 100. So according to that we will get some values, and that value we have kept in certain range. So this is how the random distribution, like the occurrence of those numbers are coming. And also another thing here, so we did this thing for I think 10,000. Suppose what I will do here now, suppose I will increase this n value, and let's check that what will happen. So here now I did 100,000. So let's check the same. Let's go to our GNU plot, and again let's plot the same thing. So now you see that probability distribution is quite uniform. That means if the data point is more and more, then we will get one very uniform random distribution, and this is suggesting that the probability of these random numbers are coming near to 1, which means like we can say that if we are getting near, like this histogram values near to 1, that means we can say that this random number generates uniform random number. So this is how we can also verify that whether the numbers that we are generating are really uniform random or not. So this is another property of the random number, which you can also take to verify your data point or the number that you are generating are they uniform or not. So I think this one will be helpful for you to understand these random numbers in a better manner. And this much for today's session, and thank you all, and bye bye.